So you've seen the title, you've seen the thumbnail, you know it's not going perfect. And fortunately for you, and less fortunately for me, I have to go to work again in a few hours and I'm already sleep deprived, so I am probably going to be less filtered than I should be and cut through a lot of the BS and get to the point. Though to give you an idea of what I'm doing today, I first have to take you back to July of 2020. And for those of you who have been following me since then, you know that that was both the start of my medical school journey at the Mayo Clinic and the start of my YouTube journey meant to document that same process. To say that I was naively optimistic at that time would have been an understatement. I mean, I had been working towards this goal of being a doctor since I was 10 years old, since I was in the 6th grade. So as far as I was concerned, life was perfect and I was thrilled and there was nothing that you could say or do that would make me feel otherwise. And even though it's well documented, both in other people's experiences and in mine, that medical school is obviously no walk in the park, if you look back at my old vlogs and my old updates, you'll see a lot of smiling Ahmad, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed even in the toughest of circumstances. So yeah, medical school wasn't easy and I documented some of that for you in vlogs and other ways, but the hardest parts of medical school, those went undocumented. During those tough times, I had disappeared from the internet for years at a time because my life was so regimented in an attempt to overcome that stress and that challenge. I was waking up at 3 or 4 in the morning every day just to get on a treadmill and do Anki flashcards, go to my clinical rotations, do my best to impress, come home, study more, sleep, wake up, and repeat the same thing over and over and over again. Was it easy? Obviously not, but it was worth it because at the end of the day, I felt like I did well coming out of medical school and I matched into my dream specialty, being dermatology. Fast forward to residency. Roughly 6 months ago, I documented my first day ever as a doctor, and I stood in this exact spot after walking over from that corner to let you know both how excited I was and how nervous I was at what was the culmination of all of my hard work over the years. If medical school was a dream at the time, all of that was just a stepping stone to get to this point, being a doctor. When I'm at bedside or when I'm in the clinic, I feel fulfilled, even if it's not happy all of the time. Delivering bad news isn't a happy moment, but it feels purposeful. And when you get to share joy with a patient who's feeling better at the end of all of it, that feeling is everything. Those moments mean everything. So this isn't a why I'm leaving medicine video. I'm not here to tell you that I actually hate my job because I don't. I love what I do. And on the other hand, this isn't a clickbait video where things are actually going perfect and look at how excellently I'm handling residency, and it's not a gotcha. That's not the video either. I legitimately don't feel well, but if it's not my work, then what's the issue? That's been something that I've been struggling to figure out throughout the last few months where I felt this way. And I don't even know if I actually have the answer fully, but I'll try to explain. And to start, number one, as much as I love my work, it is exhausting. There's no way around it and no two ways about it. I've tried to convince myself otherwise and just remind myself that this is your dream job. Countless people would kill to be in your shoes. This is what you've wanted for your whole life. And while all those things are true, and I do my best to be cognizant of them as often as possible, which is at the bare minimum daily, it doesn't change the fact that I still come home fatigued. And it's not just the fatigue, it's not just the feeling drained, it's what those feelings do to the rest of my life. There's just no time for anything else. After the 12-hour shifts, plus the commute time, plus whatever small things that add up throughout the day, 6 days a week, it just feels like no matter how much I strategize, no matter how much I implement that level of rigidity that got me through medical school, it's just not quite enough. And even if you manage to make it through the 6 days you're on throughout that week on that one day off, you're so exhausted from doing your best to perk up and be the best version of yourself, mostly for others on the job, honestly, that on that day off, you just do laundry, try to sleep in a little bit, and just prepare yourself to do it all over again, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. There's no time to reflect. There's no time to process. There's no time to just be. So when I tell you that something's felt wrong and that I've been trying to figure out for some time what that thing is, part of the problem is I literally don't have enough time to reflect on it. And this problem isn't exclusive to residency. Back in medical school, I didn't take the time to reflect on things that happened in my life, big or small, because all I was trying to do was focus on the end goal. Match, 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 graduate, graduate, graduate. You're so one-track minded that life keeps coming at you, and yes, technically on paper you achieve your goals, but you don't really have the bandwidth, or at least I didn't or haven't had the bandwidth to process it. So now I'm here in residency and I'm trying to figure out what's wrong with me, and I'm realizing that I get hit with this wave of, hold on, what the heck just happened in the last 5 years? I just turned 26 a few days ago, and sometimes I still feel 20 inside. And I look myself in the mirror and I'm like, hold up, who are you? What do you believe in? What are you working towards? That's where residency has been hard. I do feel fulfilled in my work, but not in my life. I feel lonely, not because of the people in my life and them not being enough. They're amazing. They're not the issue. It's me. I don't give them enough time, and when I do, I am a shell of myself, even on the best of days. And that makes me feel like a burden. Spiritually, I feel disconnected. Now, I'm not an expert, but in my experience, spirituality requires time and investment. And when you're not investing, you feel the distance. That's not ideal when that spirituality is something that you would naturally lean on to help get you through tough times. And as far as hobbies go, I miss them. Whether it be going to the gym, which I still actually do quite a bit, but when I'm there, I feel like an uninspired version of myself. I feel like I'm just going through the motions. I don't know if it's fair to pin everything on residency. I'm just telling you how I feel right now. I feel uninspired, I feel bleh, I feel like I'm just going through the motions to go through them, and I don't feel like I have the enthusiasm to be excited about much of anything. YouTube being a great example of that. I legitimately miss creating content, but even when I do carve out the bandwidth, or the time I should say, to do it, I feel like I can't be inspiring enough, energetic enough, insightful enough, or entertaining enough to be worth anyone's time. And that's not a self-deprecating woe is me thing. It's just a reflection of how I feel about myself in these moments where I just feel so damn drained. I feel like a zombie. In short, I don't feel like a person. I feel like I'm not growing outside of medicine, and I'm scared. I'm scared because this is how I feel right now at my youngest, freshest, and least jaded. So what does that mean for what's to come? So now I'm here after reflecting, talking to you about how I can be more than just a doctor. I don't have the answers, and I'm not going to pretend to. And no matter how much I intellectualize a situation or frame it in a pretty way or talk to you about it, I'm gonna wake up tomorrow on too little sleep, drive 20, 25 minutes to the hospital, do a 12-hour ED shift, come home, and then, no matter how much you talk about it, it's still gonna end the same. But maybe this is where it starts, by acknowledging it, by talking about it, and by not pretending that everything is fine when it isn't. All I can say is that if you're feeling this way too, you're not alone. And if I figure it out, I'll let you know. And maybe we can figure it out together. I love you guys. Thanks for always being there for me. And peace.